Recently, a couple came to me and she was so upset and she was literally crying. She looked at him and she said, "You don't even ask me about my day anymore." And he responded immediately, "I literally just asked you 2 minutes ago." You know what is interesting? That he actually believed that he did ask. And for some reason, she didn't hear that. We keep calling this a communication problem. But first of all, you will be amazed how many people actually don't hear because they have some problem with hearing. But if we are not talking about ears, what people are really looking for is attention, to be seen, to be heard. And if that need isn't met, you can say whatever you want, the other person cannot hear you. And that's exactly what happened with this couple. My name is Ina, and I am a family and couple therapist and relationship coach. I work with cross-cultural couples and families. And what I want to show you today is a real map of your relationship. You definitely can find this version on the first page of Google. But that page and that map will be very generic. It's not always working for cross-cultural couples. So bear with me and let's see what we can reveal. That's what we are going to cover. I'm going to walk you through the real stage every relationship goes through. Not generic theoretical model, but what I actually see in my office every single day. Why you feel obsessed with each other at the very start? Why suddenly you start seeing everything that you didn't see before? And why so many couples get stuck being roommates instead of soulmates? And what it actually takes to deep, lasting love, especially when you and your partner came from two different worlds. So if you will search in the states of relationship, you will get the same list everywhere. Trust me. It will be honeymoon stage, power struggle, stability, coming. And that actually coming from real research. Let me show you the picture. Yes, it's right here. Wonderful. Um, so who created it? It comes from Dr. Ellen Bader and Dr. Peter Pearson, two of most respected names in couple therapy, built what we call now the developmental model. And they based their work on Margaret Muller and Fred Pine, who studied a baby psychologically development model, how they separate from their mothers in the first year of life. Bader and Pearson notice that adult couples go through the same stages a child goes through with a parent. First merging, then realizes, oh, I'm not my mom, I'm separate. So they're pulling away to find yourself, and they're coming back together, but now as two whole people. It's great research and it shows perspective. But here's what's missing. It was built watching couples from one culture, and it assumes that both people already agree on what closeness looks like, what independence looks like, what is too much or not good enough. In cross-cultural relationship, that agreement doesn't exist. You are going through the same stages, but your nervous system running completely different book of rules. And that's part nobody is talking about. So let's go through all 4 stages together, and I will show you exactly on one couple where it breaks down and why at some point your 2 different worlds prevent you to become a long-loving couple. As usual, give me 1 second. We're going to stage 1. So let me introduce one of the couple. Definitely the names are not real and countries no, but the story is real, as usual. So Sofia and Steve met in Prague. They were working in telecom company and Steve was there on assignment for 2 years. And Sofia's family welcomed him so warmly that he felt that he was like really part of them. And that is the first stage. We call it symbiosis. That's the falling in love stage. You feel that the other person is your second half. You cannot breathe without them. You feel like you are the same. We now understand that is not actually true. You cannot be the same as other person. But when you see the space, that's exactly what you notice. And it makes sense that that stage exists because if we will see all the differences, we will never ever have kids on the planet of Earth. So for Sophia and Steve, the stage felt effortless. They got married, they moved to the United States, they got pregnant, had their baby, then they got the second baby. And at that stage, things became really, really hard. Because at that stage, they were able to see how different they are and how different they have the expectations. And it was so scary. For Sophia, it showed up around her expectation from the family. She was expecting stepmother to come to help her with babies the way her own mother would come. And she actually came and she stayed and she helped tremendously. But then she left. And Steve's mother didn't care. She just retired. She was traveling, going on cruises with her sister, living her own life. And when she did visit, she will never help. She will just play and bring gifts. And that's not what Sophia expected. And it made her feel so lonely, so separate from another world. As for Steve, it showed up around money. Sophia was relieved to stay at home with babies, but Steve had naturally expected that. He assumed that she will go back to work. That's how he understood partnership. At the very beginning of building their life, his goal was to build stability now and to make enough investment for the future, for the retirement. And that is not something that Sophie even was thinking about because in her country, nobody will invest money for the retirement. The government will take it anyway. So, and honestly, at that stage, most couples stuck in. They fighting and fighting and fighting. And then at some point, they stop fighting and they just starting living separate lives, still staying together. They came to me on the second stage when they hated. What is actually happening on the third stage for most of couples? They find the place where they can do what is needed without deeply connected to each other. They don't fight anymore. They take care of kids. They work. They build their career. They build their friend circle. They don't communicate. And they feel so lonely in their marriage. Underneath, they both still needing each other. In this particular couple, Steve actually needed Sophia for her warmth and openness and empathy. And Sophia needed Steve for his grounding, for his stability, for his ability to provide. So they were a really good team, but they didn't see it. They were not able to appreciate that their differences made them really good team. And on a very deep emotional level, they can give each other what they're looking for. So in the office, they were able to slow down, to hear that, and to be a little bit more vulnerable than usual. And then, as all other couples, they will go to stage 4, which is long-lasting love. And I said all other couples, but I was wrong, because not all other couples go into this stage. But that couple did. 5 years later, they had their third baby, and Sofia sent me email that now they finally knows how to deal with this, how to have baby. She created her own life in the United States. She came back to work. She had her friend circle. She didn't feel so lonely anymore. Steve was feeling much more confident because she was working and his financial plan was actually working for that couple. So what I'm trying to say that's how the cross-cultural couple worked out. It's not only about the stages itself. It's about your cultural background and what expectations you have. As usual, at the end, what you can do. First, figure out usually at what stage you actually stuck in. Most couples think that they're fighting about, I don't know, dishes or in-laws or how often to talk to your mother. But that's not the case. You actually fighting for more emotional stuff and for your expectations. And second, ask your partner one question. When I do this, what does that mean for you? That's such an interesting question. You will be surprised how often the answer is rooted in something cultural. For example, if Sophia will ask, when I'm choosing to stay at home and not coming back to work, what does it mean for you? And Steve was vulnerable, able to say, I feel scary that we have only one income. What if something will happen with me? Yes, we do have life insurance, but still we have 2 little kids. So it's not about him trying to push her to work. It's about his biggest fear that he will not be able to provide. If you watch this and recognize your relationship on one or another stage, that's a good sign. Because it means that you can go through this crisis. I work specifically with cross-cultural and interfaith couple, and I help them figure out exactly where they are, what is actually happening underneath the surface. If you want to talk it through, you can schedule a free consultation. No pressure, just a very real conversation about what's going on and where you can go from that. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'm looking forward to see you again.